Everybody. I'm going to go through how to identify and then analyze the DNA sequence that corresponds to the fish that you were assigned. Okay, so to find your assignment, if you haven't done so yet, go to the spreadsheet and you'll find your fish number. For this analysis, I'm going to use F023. Okay, so now we need to find the file name. Okay. And here is the order of the all the samples from spring of 2019 that were sent to the sequencing facility. So you just have to go through these 3 pages and find your fish number. Okay, so here is F023 and there's one down here too. So you need to look to see if it was done twice. So what this means is student A has a sample in here and student B has a sample here. They must have shared samples. So we know then that A4 is plate 1, A4 is one sample, and plate 1, H3 is the second sample. So the file name is going to look like this, KB-1 underscore and then well number. Okay, so well position H3 or A4. Okay, so this is Katie Burnett, plate 1, H3. And Katie is the person in charge of those labs. So there we have all the files. So we go through and we find A4 is there. And then it turns out, in fact, that H3 did not get sequenced. Okay. So we will go with just the 1. So here we see H1, 2, and 3. Okay. And it did not get sequenced. So we won't be able to analyze that. If you do have 2 different sequences, go ahead and analyze both. It doesn't take that much more time and it should get the same result. Okay, so now we have our sequence. I've already downloaded mine right here. Okay, so I'm going to now go to the DNA Subway. So this is a nice tool that was designed to help students learn how to analyze DNA sequence in different ways. Today we're going to be using the blue line. Okay, now also I recommend that you, I'm going to log out. So I recommend that you register for an account. When you go to this step, it's going to ask you a bunch of information. Just make up some stuff and then enter your demographics. And this is simply because the grants want to know who's using the information or using these tools. But there might be some questions that you don't know. Just make something up and to get your login. So then once you do get your login, go ahead and enter, because if you do create your own account, you'll be able to save your work and come back to it and also share it with your team members. If you don't do that, then you will not. You'll have to redo everything every time. So I'm going to create a new project on the blue line. Okay, so before we get started, we have to select what we're doing. So in barcoding, we're using the 16S, our RNA gene. So we click on that. We want to upload our file. So we just drop it there like that. And then on project title, okay, so this is going to be my project, and then you can enter description if you would like. Now, so here's the sequence flow of how we are going to analyze the DNA sequence. So it's just like a train or a subway where you have to do each stop in order and so that you do the analysis correctly. So first thing we need to do is view our sequence. Okay, so here's the letters of our sequence, the A's, G's, C's, and T's. These files are in a binary format, so you have to have special software to open them. But what you want to do is click on the little rectangle or square right here and get what's called the trace, okay, or the chromatogram. And you can see this sequence is actually pretty good. The beginning of the sequence is always bad, okay, and that's fine. That's just the limitations of the technique. The good sequence is starting here around 85, and the sequence of the PCR product is only about 600 base pairs long, And so the sequence is going to end around 600. Okay, and then you get what looks like, which is basically noise. Okay, so we don't even, if you get a file though, and it all looks like that, you don't see nice peaks, you see nothing but flat lines like this, send me an email with the fish number. I'll check it out for you, and I may need to reassign you a fish because we want you to analyze sequence that worked. So, and every now and then the sequencing fails for various reasons. So just let me know and I will work with you to get a sequence that worked well. But this is a really nice sequence. Okay, so we do want to trim off the sequence at the beginning and the sequence at the end because this is meaningless. So they have a nice tool for us that trims our sequence. Again, we can view it and you can see that they trimmed off pretty well most of the bad stuff. Okay, if I could do it manually, I would actually stop at about 530, but that's okay. This is good for our analysis. So now it's time to find out what our fish is. And we do that by comparing it to a database with a tool called BLAST-N for nucleotide. So BLAST is a tool for comparing the DNA sequence to a database of sequence previously published. So we're going to click on that and run it, and there we go. There's the result. Okay, so here are sequences in the database that match our sequence. Okay, these are called hits. If we hover over it or click on it, there we go. It will pull up a picture of our fish from probably some database. Importantly, you want to look at the score. Okay, the results come out in highest to lowest score. So there's bunches of hits here. We don't need to worry about most of them. We just want the ones with the super high score. The E value is very, very low, meaning it's 0, which is very good. And then 0 or just a couple of mismatches. Okay, so looking like this, to me, it looks like our specific fish is this one here, possibly this one. The score is higher, but it has some mismatches. So of all the sequence, 3 differences, but these have no differences. So these are identical, and these are just different deposits of the same species. So we're going to select a few of these to add to our analysis. So I just want to do this. We don't need all of the, we only need 1 of each species. So I think that's all for now. So we'll just go with these 2. Okay, and what I would recommend is also copying the name so that we can go back later and look at them. So let me copy the name, that one, and this one. Okay, and then so that's that. So now we need to click this button to add them to our analysis. Now also we're going to upload some data. So we have reference data for you. So you'll go back to our Google Drive folder and do the fish reference sequences, and select all of those, copy them, paste them here into the sequence, and then click add sequences. Okay, so again, you're going to go upload data, paste your sequence here, and then add sequences there. Now we have all the sequence that we need.